Hey, it's David with Beat Your Face Commander. Today's deck tech is a Boros deck. The general is General Ferrous, Rokiric. I think that's how you pronounce it. He is a 3/1 hexproof and monocolored Boros commander that costs 1, a mountain, and a plains. And whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem artifact creature token. So this Boros deck, it's super aggressive, as are most of my Boros builds, my builds in general. It runs 10 mono white cards and 10 mono red cards, a whole bunch of multicolored cards, and a lot of artifacts. So let's get started. First with mono white, we've got Audric, Lunarch Marshal. At the beginning of combat, creatures you control gain a whole ton of abilities depending on what other creatures have. So obviously with a deck like this, you can have a lot of creatures that have keyword abilities that they can then share in combat. Some of the heavy hitters, got Avacyn, Angel of Hope. Flying, Vigilance, indestructible. Other permanents you control have indestructible. Elish Norn. It's a 4/7 with Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +2/+2. Creatures your opponents control get -2/-2. I'm also throwing in Akroma, Vision of Ixidor. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample. And then at the beginning of each combat, until end of turn, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 if they have a keyword ability. Long story short, so the more keyword abilities a creature has, the more +1/+1 pumps they get. So a creature like Aerial Responder would be getting 3. It's a 2/3 flyer with Vigilance and Lifelink. I'm also running Benelish Marshal to pump my creatures +1/+1. An enchantment, Tempered Steel, gives artifact creatures +2/+2. And a couple of combat tricks in white. Eerie Interlude to exile any number of target creatures and then return back to the battlefield. So basically just protect you from a board wipe. Or Make a Stand to give creatures +1/+0 and indestructible. In red, I'm running Strike It Rich to create a treasure token. It has a flashback cost of 2 in a red. Seize the Spoils. You discard a card and draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. Fervor to give creatures haste. Also running Magmatic Insight, Tormenting Voice, and Throw Possibility. You have to sacrifice something or discard to draw cards. Rodrock. Same thing. He costs 0. He's got First Strike, Menace, and Trample. Also running Jessica, Thrice Reborn. Her 0 ability, choose target creature until your next turn. If that creature would deal combat damage to one of your opponents, it deals triple that damage instead. And I'm also running Morog. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. It has a landfall trigger. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. I've been finding a deck to use him in. And this was not the deck that I thought he would end up in, but I think there's a lot of potential here. And then for another additional combat step, I've got Relentless Assault. So, supporting artifacts, like I said, there's quite a few. Running Swiftfoot Boots. Gold Mirror for some ramp. Metallic Mimic. It comes in the battlefield, you choose a creature type. And then each other creature you control with that chosen type enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. Spoiler alert, it's going to be golems. Marble Diamond for some mana ramp. Also Star Compass, same thing. The Parhelion 2. It's a flying First Strike Vigilance. Whenever it attacks, create 2 4/4 white angel creature tokens that are attacking with Vigilance. And flying. All right, and it's crew 4. So conveniently, one of these golems that costs, that's a 4/4, can crew this and create more tokens. Running Ancient Stone Golem, or Ancient Stone Idol. It's a 12/12 golem with flash. Mannequin for some mana ramp, as is also Fire Diamond. Also Solemn Simulacrum. The goal of this deck is to get a lot of golems onto the battlefield. So Adaptive Automaton. It'll also enter as a golem, and other creatures of the chosen type gets +1/+1. Running Coat of Arms to pump up all the golems. Hedron Crawler for mana ramp. Soul Ring, Gold lane pick, create treasure tokens. Colossus of Akros. Defender Indestructible, Monstrosity 10. So you can tap 10 and turn him into a 20/20 that can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and he's indestructible. Palladium Mirror for some mana ramp. Arcane Signet. Prismatic Lens. Ornithopter of Paradise. Steel Overseer, you tap and you put a 1/1 creature on each artifact or counter on each artifact creature you control. And then the Kark Clan Ironworks. Sacrifice an artifact, add 2 mana to your mana pool. So finally, getting to the most important stuff, the multicolored spells. So the goal is to cast a lot of multicolored spells to get that value and create some golems and then swing out. So I've got Fireborn Knight, has double strike, and then you can tap 4 and give him +1/+1 till end of turn. Thrilling Discovery, you gain 2 life. You may discard 2 cards, and if you do, you get to draw 3. Gleam of Battle, creatures get 1/1 counter every time you attack. War Leader's Helix, does 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. Sacred Fire, does 2 damage, you gain 2 life, it's got a flashback cost. Majani Vengeant, it's +1. A target permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. It's -2, does 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. And then its ultimate is to destroy all lands a target player controls. I doubt I'd ever use the alt on this, but the ability to tap down things or do some damage and gain life could be pretty good in this deck. Solar Blaze is a situational board wipe. Each creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. So you probably take out a lot of the board, but maybe not all of it. Tajik, Legion's Edge. He's a 3/2 with haste and mentor, and prevents all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. And then you can tap a mountain and plains to give him first strike. Sky Knight Legionnaire, flying in haste. Anya, Merciless Angel. It's a 4/4 flyer for 5. It gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half their starting life total. And as long as the opponent's life total is less than half of their starting life total, Anya is indestructible. So, once again, this is a very aggro deck. So, normally I wouldn't play Anya, but I think she'll fit very well into here. Noblest of War, 5 mana for a 3/4 attacker that gives attacking creatures you control. I'm sorry, a 3/4 flyer that gives attacking creatures you control +2/+0. Rip Apart either does damage to target creature planeswalker, or you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. Deflecting Palm prevents damage, throws it right back at their controller's face. Figure of Destiny starts as a 1/1. You can tap 1 mana, make it a 2/2, 3 mana, make it a 4/4, or you can go ahead and tap 6 mana to make it an 8/8 Spirit Warrior Avatar with flying and first strike. True Fire Captain, it's got Mentor, and then whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. A Boros Swiftblade, it's a 1/2 with double strike. Foundry Helix, you have to sack permanent, and when you do, it does 4 damage to any target. If the sacrifice permanent was an artifact, you gain 4 life. Boros Reckoner, whenever it's dealt damage, it does that much damage to any target, and then you can tap 1 to get first strike. Just Strike, target creature deals damage equal itself to its power. Master Warcraft, you have to play before combat's declared, and you get to choose which creatures attack and which creatures block. A Lightning Helix to do 3 damage and gain 3 life. And then Blade Historian gives attacking creatures you control double strike. So there's a lot of cards in here with keyword abilities that build on each other. A lot of ways to generate golems and pump them up. In terms of land, this is a pretty simple deck. The only non-basic land in here is Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. You can go ahead and tap 2, a mountain and plains to give a target creature a double strike until end of turn. Pretty simple. Otherwise, it taps for colorless, and then there are 17 plains and 17 mountains. The deck is not complicated. The battle plan is not complicated, but it will be effective. This is Dave with Beat Your Face Commander. Hope you enjoyed the video.